right, it's 7 o'clock, and I am calling the public portion of our West Grey Council meeting to order, our meeting of Tuesday, August 27, 2019. We did have an in-camera portion starting at 6 p.m. It is just at 7 o'clock now for our public portion of the agenda. So at first I'm looking for, and I do have before me, a motion to rise out of the, rise into the open session, and that is moved by Councillor Hamilton, seconded by Councillor Shea. Be it resolved that the Council of the Municipality of West Grey hereby returns to open session right at 7 p.m. That's good. Any questions on the motion? Calling the question, all those in favour? Opposed, if any? It does carry. Okay, we are at open session. Speed writing my name. Thank you very much. So we are now on item 5, which is matters arising from the closed session. That is an NA. There's nothing that needs to be reported out. And as mayor, I can say that only the item that we went in camera for was the only item that was discussed in camera. All right, so that takes us to item 6, comment period. We do have a fair number of citizens in the audience. I'm just wondering if there's anyone that wishes to partake in comment period. Fantastic. Mr. Miller?
Thank you, Mayor. In respect to this proposed chicken bylaw, maybe like a lot of other people thought of this being doing with Durham-Ayton and Newstead, but I'm not sure about that now. We look at section 3, part 2, item ABCD, I guess. It talks about how big an area you have to have or how small. If I had a farm or a lot of 2 acres out in the middle of no place in West Grey, could I keep a chicken or not?
Well, Mr. Miller, if you're on a farm, you can, but in terms of the urban chicken proposed bylaw that we're addressing, that is still a discussion that we are having at this point. We're determining, is it dwelling versus property, in terms of the maximum number of chickens. So that it has yet, that we are just addressing that through our council. We will be having a public meeting, but Clerk Turner, could you add anything to that?
Yeah, just for clarification, in the agricultural, rural, and restricted rural zones, if it's less than 2 hectares or 5 acres, livestock are not permitted, which would include hens presently. So the keeping of hens bylaw as it is currently drafted, and again not approved, but that would permit hens specifically on those zoned properties less than 5 acres.
But right now it's illegal.
Under 5 acres, that's correct.
Yeah.
Okay, that means no chickens, no ducks, no geese, not even one little banty.
A banty, yeah. As cute as they are, that's correct. Thank you.
Okay, I guess that answers my question. But we must remember there's an awful lot of lots around through West Grey that are probably less than 5 acres. And we must think about Darnick, Elmwood, Crawford subdivision, and the area across the road from the landfill, just an example of a bunch of other places.
Thank you for that input. It does not go unnoticed, that's for sure.
Thank you.
Thank you. Christine Loft? Thank you.
Thank you. Christine Loft on behalf of John Welton Custom Homes. So we are back on your agenda tonight with an amending bylaw, and I just wanted to maybe give a quick overview of the reasons. So I had submitted the condition chart of how all of the conditions were met to the county, and the Conservation Authority did sign off on everything, but they did ask that the one schedule in the subdivision agreement be updated with a newer date. And so as we work through detailed design, of course, the plans change from the original submission. And so the Conservation Authority did ask, because that was the final plan that they signed off on, that that the subdivision agreement Schedule E reference that October 2018 date. And that is critical because, as you know, those plans are not actually part of the subdivision agreement. So if someone was reading the subdivision agreement and wanted to reference the plan that was approved, then at least this way, with making this change, then the dates are correct in referencing the approved site plan. So the bylaw before you tonight is critical to us moving forward. We have applied for final approval to the county. And so obviously the meeting of many of the conditions, probably 3/4 of them, rely on the subdivision agreement, which does require approval by you through this bylaw before you tonight.
Agreed. It's a date change.
It's a date change.
Agreed.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming to the podium and providing that explanation.
Thank you.
It is in our bylaws section. Okay, thank you. All right. Is there anybody else in the audience that would like to speak at this time for comments? Seeing none, thank you all for being here. Anyway, item 7 is public meetings. We do not have any on this particular agenda. Item 8 is part 1 consent agenda. So we'll be looking at a motion at this point, moved by Councillor Shea, seconded by Councillor Hamilton. Be it resolved that items A1 to A3 inclusive contained in Part 1 consent agenda be adopted as printed, and that further authorization be given for the action to be taken as may be necessary to give effect to the recommendations contained therein. Further comment? Councillor Hamilton, please.
Although maybe this isn't the right time, it's the future committee meetings portion. I just wanted to make a couple edits. Is that right now?
I think it's the right time.
Yeah?
Sure,
Oh, okay. Okay. So D2, the West Grey Public Library Board Strat meeting, it's going to be here at this office.
Okay.
Okay. And then D6, the special community meeting is at Newstead Hall. But then it also references West Grey Municipal Office, so we could just strike that, I would think.
Okay.
And that's it. Yeah, thank you.
Well, I think that's wonderful, by the way, that you've seen some amendments that need to be made. And I just want to highlight before I go to our clerk that just for everyone's interest, that we are having a special committee meeting of the whole. It will be on September 11th at 7 p.m. at the Newstead Hall, and that's our first visioning of what improvements or what enhancements or how do you see a new stat, and we will also be having subsequent meetings at Ayton and Durham and our other areas of Lamlash, or how that works into Elmwood. So we're having subsequent meetings. So thank you for drawing the attention to the location change on this agenda, but it just gave an opportunity to discuss that, and I know we'll be putting notifications out. Clerk Turner.
And just to advise that the West Grey Economic Development Advisory Committee, originally scheduled for September 5th, and it's shown as D4. Item D4 has been canceled.
Okay, good. Anything further, members of council, before I call the question? Councillor Herger.
Yes, part of the consent agenda includes the Soggy Municipal Airport minutes from April.
Yeah.
For approval here. And at our last council meeting, we approved January through June. So I think it's just repetitive, but if there's any way we can streamline that better, I'd look for that process.
Yes, and we're constantly looking to streamline, so thank you for bringing that attention, and I so note that you are the council appointment on the Airport Authority, so I appreciate that. Further comments? Okay, I think I'm looking to call the question. All those in favor? Opposed, if any? Carried. Okay. All right, so that takes us now all the way down to item 8. That takes us all the way into Part 2, regular agenda, item 9. Oh, communications from mayor and members of council. I'll start, and then this time I'm going to go to my left. Okay, so thank you for that. It's been absolutely busy. I want to first say that I attended and brought greetings at the Hanover Bentic Brant Agricultural Fair. They don't call it at this point the Fall Fair, but it's a fair. There were 3 ambassadors crowned, and I'm absolutely pleased to say that the little ambassador is Claire Olivero, and that certainly, as we know, is Adam and Jennifer Olivero's daughter. So congratulations to that. I also want to send congratulations to the junior ambassador, Jacinda Patterson, and the senior ambassador, Olivia Schossler, I believe is the correct pronunciation, to just stay on track for fall fairs. We do have the Durham Fall Fair, and it is the 161 Fall Fair starting August 31st, so that's coming up this weekend to September 1st, and it's fun for the whole herd. So I could tell you for the parade, West Grey will have a float. Well, it's our truck with a bit of a design in the bed of the truck. So that's how we're participating and showing our support. And the Neustadt Fall Fair is September 20th and 21st, and it's Mason Jars and Shining Stars. And I know that we have a member of the Ag Society, Scott Forrester, in the audience. So thank you. I know all the hard work that's being done through the two Ag Societies. It's really important for me to tell you that Ali Spillmacher, who is the current 2018-2019 Durham Ambassador, has been incredibly successful in her reign, and she is the Grey Bruce 4-H Ambassador for 2018-2019. She is the first runner-up for Miss Midwest competition for 2019, and on top of that, she was also first runner-up in the ambassador for the CNE. So that's huge accomplishments, and that I have been told that that particular honor is determined and chosen for all of Canada to be represented in the U.S. for the, there's also, yes, that they're chosen for Canada to represent in the U.S. for the World Dairy Expo. So that's one of 32 people that are picked. So I think that's really important, and I think we'll look forward to the ambassadors for the Durham Fall Fair this year and for the Neustadt Fall Fair. I think that'd be worthy of having those individuals present at some point at the appropriate time coming to council, because I know they all can public speak for sure. Please go ahead.
Just a point of clarification. Was it the CNE or was it the Royal Winter Fair that she was runner-up? I thought it was the Royal that she was runner-up.
I stand corrected if that is the case. I did speak with Deb Tucker, who's the president of the Durham Ag Society overall, but that was my indication, but I do stand corrected if it is. Either way,
I see a couple of heads nodding, so I think it was the Royal.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Tremble. That's perfect to know. I did bring greetings, and I attended at the 12th Annual Colleen Lantz Memorial Run for Youth and had breakfast prepared by the Neustadt firefighters. So that was most enjoyable. I attended a picnic for the Four Square Church. They were celebrating their 90th anniversary, and I believe all of those years were in Durham. So I think that's very significant. And there was the first ever, as far as we know at this point, the first ever amateur radio hall, so Amateur Radio Fest, and that took place in West Grey, and a hall or amateur radio that's a swap and talk. So it's an opportunity to purchase amateur radio equipment and talk about that. And I happen to have my license, so I am a VA3 CIO for anybody out there that wants to contact me via amateur radio. So that test was difficult, I have to tell you that. I think the only thing that I want to mention is that we have a great delegation here that certainly is for the Terry Fox Run. So I just want to highlight that. That's really important, but that is a delegation on its own for sure. So thank you, Rob Edwards, for being here. We're also going to... Correct. Absolutely. So the Rampage, it's the Tyke E. Participants and coaches will be here later on. But I'm just going to say that I believe we need to do a follow-up in terms of the Durham Dodgers baseball team, in terms how did they do in Saskatchewan? So that is something that we need to clarify. I know there's lots of discussion, so I'm just going to say that AMO conference was hugely successful on behalf of West Grey, and I will leave it at that. Thank you for your time. Councillor Townsend.
Thank you very much. First, start off by saying I also attended AMO and found it very, very enlightening, very educational. Lots of great ideas to bring back, and hopefully we'll continue to see benefits from that over the next few years, not just within the next month or so. Also, the Fall Fair, as mentioned by Mayor Robinson, is happening this weekend, and I will not be on the float or with the float because I'm actually going to be working as a lion on the weekend to support the fundraising that happens there. Also on Saturday, I participated in the Legion's Golf Tournament, which again is fundraising for them, and fun was had by all. It was a smaller group, but they've decided to go back into that, and they hope to expand it year after year. Staying on the same theme, this what is it, September 7th, which is the same weekend as the firefighters' truck pull. Unfortunately, I won't be able to make that either because I'll be supporting Abbey Field on the golf course as well. So trying to spread your time around and make sure you cover everything just isn't always possible. So you try to do what you can when you can. So anyway, thank you very much.
Thank you. Councillor Herger, please.
I'll keep this brief. Avery Moore presented O Canada for the opening of the ball tournament in Ayton, a very successful fundraiser that they've had year after year. I also would like to acknowledge all of the volunteers on the Ayton Recreation Committee who've done a tremendous job trying to fundraise for an initiative that they'll bring forward later this evening. Also, as a member of the Elmwood Fire Board, I would like to acknowledge an initiative by the Elmwood Fire Department to work with the West Grey landfills to just highlight safe burning and fire safety at the same time that people are popping into our landfills. Also, an update on the Ayton Arena parking lot. We spoke about this morning just for the public, that we are in the process of making some changes to a third entryway that would be an in or off of Grey Road 3. So we're only allowed to have two, and we will make the appropriate adjustment as a plan comes forward on that, but we've given some direction to handle that. I do have a question, and this is somewhat of an open question that I've heard from the public. What is the update on the Durham dump, the Durham landfill, and how are we managing that? So I'd look forward to a response at some point, just for the public's information about capacity, where we're at, changes to how we're operating, how our service levels. Thanks.
Thank you for that. Councillor Shea, please.
Thank you. I had a meeting at Launchpad with the executive director there to learn about the services that they're providing to local youth, and in specific to West Grey youth through a newly county-funded transportation program that will service residents here, there. That was very exciting. I attended Caribbean Fest with Doug. Caribbean or Caribbean? Caribbean Fest with Doug at the Knox United Church. That was great, lots of fun. It was really interesting to learn about these different cultures, and right here in the middle of West Grey.
Yeah.
It seemed like a long time ago, but I attended an open house at Gemini, which was very informative. It's a great organization, very well run, and seems to be very focused on attracting and retaining local workers and really empowering them in the community. So I was very impressed with that. I also participated as a jury member on the Follis Scholarship Jury at the Durham Art Gallery, where a winner was chosen to be the new recipient. I don't think they've done the press release yet, so I won't spill the beans, but that's moving forward as well.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor Hutchinson.
Thank you, Mary Robinson. Yes, I won't repeat everything that's kind of been said, but of course we've acknowledged the fall fairs. I too would like to congratulate the Norman Bay Rec Association for a well-ran family ball tournament weekend. That was a blast had by all down there. It was Gemini. We've discussed that. I was at AMO and brought a tremendous amount of knowledge back that a lot of it's going to be applicable to what we're going to be trying to do, or what I think is a good vision. So there was a lot of takeaway there, and I'll certainly be sharing that with the public. I'd like to just make reference to the fact that Trixie Saloon in Ayton celebrated their 5th year, so
Yep.
nice little milestone for Trish. Pardon me? Ayton Auto? Well, they're not, that's coming up. Yeah, Ayton, well, yeah? Yeah. Ayton Auto's coming up, yeah, for their celebration. I think that'll be posted. Again, I think Councillor Townsend made reference. I know that the Abbeyfield is looking for some teams. Anybody's looking for September 7th. And that should be in without duplicating. I think I'll pass the mic on.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Councillor Hamilton, please.
Yeah, it's been a busy few weeks. It's been a very busy summer, actually. No rest for us councillors, but certainly enjoying the summertime and organizing as many different meetings and connections as I can in our community. And I had an informal meeting with Councillor Danielle Valaquette from Grey Highlands and Deputy Mayor Odette Bartnicki from Town of Blue Mountains, as they've recently formed environmental stewardship sustainability committees. So we're starting to connect and share ideas so we can support each other in our municipalities and share our best ideas and partner where we can. Also attended the Climate Action Team Grey Bruce panel discussion last week in Owen Sound, where they were discussing what does it mean to declare a climate crisis. And so we had 2 Grey County planners on that panel and a couple community members as well discussing the climate change crisis. And I'm really looking forward to the Durham Fall Fair. You'll find me at the West Grey Library Board, or the West Grey Library will have a tent, and I'll be there Saturday afternoon as a board member.
Excellent. I look forward to seeing you there for sure. Councillor Hutchinson.
Yeah, so just to jump on a couple things. One is that Councillor Hamer's already mentioned in Knox United Church Caribbean celebration. I brought greetings on behalf of the mayor for that, and it was a very educational piece. It also goes along with their 160th year of celebrations this year at the Knox United Church. Also, just like to mention that Music in the Park on Sunday evenings is wrapping up. I think they have one more evening, and I think it's been very successful. Even people from, not just from Durham, but outside all of West Grey have come to participate and listen in on that. And just like to thank all the people, minor ball and minor soccer have wrapped up, I think, pretty much. And like to thank all the volunteers that have helped to have another successful season. So that's it for me.
Good, thank you. Oh, okay, that was really well done. The long and short of it is there's lots to do in West Grey and beyond, and we're just representing citizens. I think that's essential. So I have every indication that perhaps Clerk Turner, that we can move on to delegations just a little bit early. The West Grey Rampage are all here. Can we go a little early on it, or just? You okay to corral everybody and invite them to come in? Thank you. Okay, perfect. This is super exciting. So at Council's indulgence, we're just starting our first delegation, 4 minutes early, and we're looking for a 7:30, but we're West Grey Rampage Tyke team is here, and we'll just leave it at that for the moment as they come in. I don't think it's worthwhile getting into any other item at this point because they're on their way in. So. Oh yes, they're just wrapping up some photos. I can say that our next delegation is Mr. Rob Edwards, who's the organizer of the 2019 Terry Fox Run, and that we'll receive an update on that. And then we will, as our third delegation this evening, have Jessica Farkinson and Mary Lou Pfeffer of the West Grey Parks Recreation and Cultural Local Committee, and specifically Ayton, will be discussing proposed additional playground equipment at the Ayton Centennial Hall grounds. So that is just by way of my public service announcement on the delegations. And figured that would give enough lead time for our people that are receiving certificates to come in. Oh, yes, please. Yeah, I think that that's something, yeah, sure, if you want to, I absolutely am okay with that suggestion. And the suggestion is to move ahead outside of our delegations and just look at the one Director of Finance and Treasurer's report. This is the approval of the vouchers. Director Mighton, can you just explain why the voucher is a little high this time around?
Yeah, there is two payments for capital projects that we have completed. One is the Road 71 pavement project. It's about just over $330,000, so that's included in the voucher, as well as the paving of the Normanby Arena parking lot at just about $73,000. So those couple of capital items are sort of out of the normal voucher payments.
Yeah. When the vouchers are a little high, it's just worthwhile to provide that explanation. I know you read the vouchers. I mean, that goes without saying, but I think that just highlight it at this meeting. Now, are there any questions with regard to the voucher items? Okay. Well, I do have Councillor Hutchinson.
Well, I had a discussion already with the director about a couple of them, but I'll maybe just hold off on that.
Thank you. Okay. So what I'm going to do is we'll just invite them in, and then we'll continue on. So, Madam CAO, would you mind just inviting them to come in? I think this is absolutely lovely. It's our future leaders. So I think this is quite nice. Okay. Oh, okay. So we're going to have our delegates come in, and then we'll just continue on with this. Okay? Okay. Okay. Thank you. Here we go. Hi, thank you for coming.
Yes, yeah.
Good. We don't have a handheld mic, or probably need the handheld. Okay. Hi there. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Come on in. This is just wonderful. Can everybody get in okay? And if not, if you want to just open that secondary door there, and then it's everybody can hear that those that do not wish to come into the chamber, but you can still see.
This works when you press on. I'll maybe turn mine on and we can just
Okay.
the mics towards.
Thank you. Okay. We're all settled. Thank you all for being here. We just got one little bit of business that we want to take care of before we get into these really exciting presentations. So, Councillor Hutchinson, you still have the floor.
Regarding the treasurer's report?
Yes.
Okay. I did ask a couple questions, which I basically have got clarified, so I'm okay if you want to leave it for now.
Thank you very
that's fine.
much. Are there any other questions with regards to the Director of Finance and Treasurer's report? We are dealing with the approval of voucher 16-2019. Any questions? Okay, I do have a motion before me, moved by Deputy Mayor Tom Hutchinson, seconded by Councillor Jeffrey Shea. Be it resolved that the Director of Finance and Treasurer be authorized to pay the accounts presented as voucher 16-2019 in the amount of $1,138,121.08 of the Municipality of West Grey. Are there any questions at this point? Calling the question. All those in favor? Opposed, if any? It does carry. Thank you very much, and thank you, Director Mighton. All right, so we've achieved completion of that report. Now we'll go back to our delegation and the reason why our chamber is filled right now. So welcome, everybody. This is rather exciting. So the delegation is for the West Grey Rampage Tyke lacrosse team. We have a presentation of certificates, not only for the team, but for the coaches. I think that's really significant. And the reason for that is the West Grey Rampage Tyke lacrosse team is being recognized for winning the Ontario Lacrosse Association Tyke E Provincial Championship. So well done overall. Exciting, exciting news. You should absolutely be proud of yourself, and certainly as council, we're very proud of you, and your community is proud of you. I'm just going to come around to the other side and start presenting the certificates. So we're starting with the teams, and we're going to go with number 40, Logan Eccles.
Check.
Congratulations. So that's yours. Thank you very much. Okay. And at any point, please feel free to take photos. I think that's really, really important. This is number 21, Bailey Lawrence. Oh. Bailey, is it possible for you to come up and have a photo? Okay. You want to open your certificate? Thank you. Good. We'll just be a little slower to allow for the photos to take place. Number 22, and this is Nixon Brown. What do you call this? Cross stick. Okay, well done. Thank you. Any photos here for that? Okay, thank you. Okay, well done. Number 23, Sawyer Lorenz. Thank you. Oh my goodness. Number 24, Hannah Kingston. Hannah Kingston. Thank you. Number 25, Briar Burnett. Excellent. Got it? Okay. Number 26, Blake Turner. Congratulations. That's yours. Number 27, Peyton Ray. Well done. Number 28, Lucan Turner. Oh my goodness. Thank you. Do you have a hold of it? Okay, good. Number 29, Carter McClement. Number 30, Luke Herman. Thank you. Number 31, Cleo Caswell. I will give that to the coach. Thank you very much. Number 32, Cash Fairburn. Thank you. Number 34, Evan Davis. Two cameras. Very popular. Okay. Item 35, Corbin Dick. Congratulations. This is for you. Well done. Okay. Number 36, Cash DeBlanc. Number 37, Ashton Luce. There you go. You're welcome. Number 38, Maddox Matthews. Thank you for letting me know. Okay, so that is everybody on the team, and now we'd like to honor the coaching staff. So we'd start with Coach AJ Grant. Accomplishment of your team. Very well done. That's a special moment. Assistant Coach Mike Turner. Oh, you actually get a photo. Trainer Luke McClement. Pretty exciting. Okay, last one. Manager Elisa Davis. Oh, okay. Okay. So is there an opportunity that you would like a group photo on the stairs? Traditionally, that's what we've done. I don't think it's going to take up a whole lot of time, but at least that's another memory photo. And I would suggest, thank you very much for wanting that. Members of council, would you also like to be in the photo? And I would just suggest that we're just recessing our council meeting at this point for the purpose of having that photo, and then we'll come back in. Okay? Oh, that is correct. Yes, please. Yeah. No, if you are you okay to go to the podium? Yeah. Thank you for the reminder on that. I appreciate it. Okay.
So I'm going to be a little long-winded these days. Just get you to turn the mic on, please. Thank you.
How's that? All right, I'm getting a little bit long-winded these days. For those of you who don't know me, I'm the president of minor lacrosse, Adam Kroll. About 5 years ago, we started just putting some kids on the floor. We had a parent that wanted it. Some children wanted to go to Owen Sound. They were kind of stopped by their out-of-town fees. So their out-of-town fees is where we were born from. So let's move ahead a little bit. AJ was probably the first guy that I recruited to come on the floor with me. So I actually see this as an unbelievable fitting tribute to AJ in his lacrosse career. So. Yeah, I had to point you out, bud. So just fast forward to today. It's just an unbelievable experience for me, for the coaches, and the kids. I was talking to our West Grey police out there, and they said the kids that play sports aren't the ones doing the stealing, and I honestly 100% believe that. So anyway, I couldn't be more proud of our kids. Our whole organization, by the way, it went from 44 last year to 118 this year. That's our growth rate. I wish Kara, my wife, was here. She decided that she wouldn't come. She says, I'm done with lacrosse for this year. She's actually making some banana bread or something like that.
Okay.
Because I would actually put her right here and say this is the reason why we can function is because she does all the paperwork, does everything. I'm just happy with talking and working with coaches and with kids on the floor. So we have a really good situation happening here. I'm really hoping we can continue and grow and really supply a really quality program for kids. I do understand probably in April, I don't think most of these kids had seen a stick or played lacrosse. Actually, let's show of hands here. Who had seen a lacrosse game before April? Parents too. On TV, anywhere.
That's cute.
Yeah. So there again, that's an unbelievable situation. So we went with no lacrosse to 100% provincial championship. Way to go, guys.
Wow.
And the last thing I'd like to do is thank our council. Last year in April, I came to you guys humbly with my tail between my legs saying, I hope you guys can help us out with our nets and our shot clocks. It was a huge expense that we could not do. So West Grey Council stepped up and said basically absolutely whatever you guys want, we'll help you out. Our arena costs, Randy Murray and his crew have been amazing for us. Anything that we want, they supply, they come in, they open it up if we need, if a team forgets something and they're traveling to Elora, he'll open the arena for us. It's just a great situation, small town, so thank you, West Grey Council, too. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, thank you. I recall the presentation. I think I was in the audience at that time. It was just on the cusp of the former council, and we do have members of that former council present, so I just want to do the shout out for that. I think that's really important, and we have a brand new council before you who is very enthusiastic about sports and healthy well-being and just all around good lifestyle in West Grey, and this is just one example of it. And I always say, when I have the opportunity, these are the future leaders of West Grey, and I couldn't be more impressed with everybody here. Also, our Chief Rob Martin is here, so I just want to acknowledge that. He's just in the, just on the cusp of the committee room there, but I just wanted to acknowledge his presence for that. So are we okay with having the photo now?
Yep.
And thank you very much for those words. It's really important.
My pleasure. One more shout out to Mr. Trumbull here for supporting our Bantam team.
Well,
I just recognized him here.
Thank you for saying that, and I think it's even more special with Mr. Trumbull in the audience. So
Absolutely.
Very good. So shall we all go outside? We're taking a temporary recess, and then we'll come back to the business of the agenda.
So Mayor Robinson, you could scooch in just a wee bit, and then we're good. That's great. Okay, everybody over here. Hello. Best smiles. Okay, one more for me. We're gonna move it this way, letting we're gonna just bring your mat. Bring your mat.
Okay, all members of council are back. Thank you for that most exciting recess to have the photo with the rampage. We even got the shout out call that they do, which is pretty nice. So all members of council are present. We have our quorum back, and we're continuing on with our delegations. Mr. Rob Edwards is the organizer of the 2019 Terry Fox Run. Certainly, if you wish to go to the podium, welcome. We'd appreciate the update. Thank you.
Hello? Bring the kids back. I love that.
Yeah. Yes.
Good evening, all. My name is Rob Edwards, and contrary to the mayor's comment, my wife organizes we both organize the
Fair
Terry
enough.
Fox Run. We've been doing it for the last 8 years, and with a lot of help from fellow volunteers, we organized the West Grey Durham event. This year's it will be held on Sunday, September 15th at the beautiful Durham Conservation Area. Registration is between 1 o'clock, and the event starts at 2 o'clock. You may have noticed I've dropped the word run out of the Terry Fox thing because I'm trying to drop that thing.
Okay.
It's the event. It's a walk, it's a stroll, it started out as a 10K run. Let's go. We're encouraging everybody to come out and just enjoy the day, do as much as you can, do as little as you can, bring your grandparents. I just feel that both Deb and I and a lot of organizers feel the word run discourages many people because they say, I don't run. So anyways, come on out. Walk, stroll, bike, jog, bring the kids, grandparents, grandkids, pets, enjoy the park. Last year's event was West Grey Durham's 25th anniversary. And I have a little plaque from the foundation that I'd like to share with the council. You can pass it around.
Thank you. Congratulations for this.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Results last year were 142 participants, a little over $8,300 raised, both up from 2017. Thank you, everybody. 3 school events took part last year, and that was Spruce Ridge, Egremont, and Normanby, and they raised $1,340, and that was more than double from 2017. Kind of think that was maybe Fred Fox visiting last year, and he went to each one of the schools, and it was wonderful that he came. My wife Deb and I support this event for 2 main reasons. Imagine 1979, a 21-year-old running 5,373 kilometers before he was forced to stop. His goal was to raise $1 for each Canadian. And when it was all done and said, he did that. He reached his goal. Wonderful. 1979, 40 years ago. And the other reason we support it is approximately 84% of every dollar raised goes to cancer research. It doesn't go to many other things. This year is the 39th, I mentioned 40, but this is the 39th annual Terry Fox Run. We'd like to encourage all West Grey residents to come out and enjoy the afternoon. It's a beautiful area that we have at the conservation area. There's no traffic, there's no, the police have been very nice to say that thanks for getting it off concession 2 and concession 1, and it's all in the park. We have t-shirts available. See Doug? No, I'm just kidding. $20 for adults, $15 for youth.
Excellent.
A couple of things that are happening before September 15th. We're having Eight and Auto is having a charity barbecue. Actually, it's their 2nd anniversary for being in business. And last year they happened to pick us to donate their funds to, and we've aligned with them again this year. So September 7th in Ayton, and Amy and Daryl are celebrating 2 years in business and having a barbecue and donating the proceeds to us. So that's great. Thank you. September 9th, we're at Rockwood. Rockwood has been going for 30 years for the Terry Fox Run. And I don't know how they started 5 years before us, but anyways, they have a little event right at the Rockwood Terrace, and it's at 2 o'clock, and you're all welcome to come out and and help the residents get around the garden, and it's wonderful. Anyways, to wind up, I encourage council, staff, employees, families to come out and join us, support us. Thanks for all the support in the past. Great. And I wanted all those kids to be here too. 39 years is a long time, and it's
Yes.
kind of going back to the well, but next year's 40, and it's going to be a wonderful year.
Absolutely. As this year
Thank you.
will, for sure. Just thank you very much for all of your efforts. You and your family have done exceptionally well, and I know you're very humble in terms of taking the acknowledgement and the praise, but I do want to just give you a shout out and thank you very much for organizing this, and it's just a very important event that takes place, and I absolutely understand the progression from just the run to incorporating any other type of movement, and I think that's really important. So well done. I will certainly be there, and I'm certain that other members of council will determine if that's where they will be, but we are absolutely behind you all the way, so thank you very much.
Hutchinson family that started it back in 93 and did it for 20 years.
I think that shout out is important, so thank you for that. Great. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, well done. All right. So we're just a few moments off from our third delegation. I don't know if we have any indication of whether they are here. So, okay, we're just getting, having their invite to come into the council chambers, and they'll be right on time. Ah, there we are. Thank you. Hey, come on in. Welcome. And I really like the t-shirts. I do, yeah. Okay. So thank you. As you walk in, I'm just going to introduce you, certainly as our third delegation. Jessica Farkinson, as well as Mary Lou Pfeffer, are listed on the agenda as being a delegation. West Grey Parks and Recreation and Culture Local Committee, but this is specific to the Ayton Committee. We will hear a proposed addition to the playground equipment at the Ayton Centennial Hall grounds. So thank you very much for the very professionally presented background information, and take it away, Jessica. Oh.
Just the gray button on top.
That one
Off
needs
to a
to be
good
voice
start.
activated, I think. Okay, thank you.
Good evening, Mayor Robinson and Council. Thank you for seeing us tonight. We also have Dave Forrester, Dave Colleton, Nadine Becker, and Tom Colleton with us. Joyce Noon couldn't join us tonight, and Aaron Colleton and his wife had a baby this morning, so they also could not join. So we are the Ayton and Area Recreation Committee. We're committed to bettering our community by trying to bring everybody together. And we'd like to speak to you tonight about a park proposal. So a little bit of our project background and the description. We're very dedicated to our community, bettering our community, and the residents, as well as looking to attract new members to our community. Over the past 5 years, we've noticed that a number of families have come back to Ayton. Young people are coming back, they're growing their families, and we'd like to continue to appeal to this demographic. Currently, the park located at the Centennial Hall had its main play structure put up about 30 years ago, and then there was some additional toddler equipment added in 2016. One of the things that I say about our committee is that between all of us, we manage to tie ourselves to everybody in our community. We have good conversations with them, and that's how we get a lot of our community feedback. And what we've heard is that people would like to see additional play structure, and they would really like to see swings added to the park. So what we would like to propose is to use the green space beside the Centennial Hall and target children ages 7 to 12. And we'd also like to have this equipment be wheelchair accessible. So on the map up on the screen, the green area is where we're proposing for this play equipment. It's currently a green space. It's not being used for anything. And we'd like to see it have a purpose. Our project scope We would issue a tender for quotes from at least 3 vendors specializing in accessible play structures. We would review these quotes and select a vendor, award the vendor to install the play structure on an approved layout and schedule. We would do locates, grass removal and ground preparation, installation of additional lighting so that it's visible at night, and wheelchair accessible ground covering, which we would look for the guidance from our accessibility group on what would be best suited for that. The new structure must include the following: accessibility for differently abled individuals, proper lighting for safety, and proper safety guarding and features per the latest regulations for public play structures. Some of our deliverables that we would hope to achieve would be enhancing the look of our community, increasing rentals at the Centennial Hall. There's the pavilion, there's the hall, and the grounds themselves, which would also bring in more revenue for West Grey, and drawing new members to our community. For our implementation plan, the Ayton Area Recreation Committee, we host a couple annual fundraisers that we know have proven success. The Family Fun Snow Volleyball Tournament and our Family Fun Baseball Tournament. So we would continue to focus on those for 2020. And in addition, we'd like to run a letter campaign reaching out to local businesses and other volunteer groups for their support. And also look at investigating available grants. So one that we've looked or had some information sent to us about is the Kraft Heinz Project Play. So we want to look into that in more detail and see what they can offer. As far as timeline goes, we would hope to be able to send out the tenders by October 2020 and have them back by mid-November so that we can select a vendor before the winter hits. And the hope with that is that then they're ready to go and hit the road running first thing in the spring when the ground's thawed. We'd start with locates, preparing the ground for the play structure to be erected, put in some exterior lighting, benches, and ground cover so that we can have a safety inspection. And we initially looked at targeting maybe July 1st long weekend as a grand opening. Another suggestion was perhaps our family ball tournament because we do have so many families that return to the area for that activity. As far as cost goes, we did get a quote for ground prep, which was approximately $22,000. And of course, this was all just kind of to give us an idea of what we're looking at for cost. One park play structure company quoted approximately $85,000 for the play structure, which I have pictures to follow. Electrical, approximately $5,000 for 2 lights. And then benches, $1,000. So for a total, we're looking at about $115,000. Currently, for our funding, we are sitting at approximately $47,474. And the reason I say approximate is we're still finalizing our total from the family ball tournament. So based on the information I have right now, this is pretty accurate, but could fluctuate by a small amount. And then further to this graph, we have our projected profits that we look to receive from some of our future events. We have the 2019 Haunted House of Aytonstein, which we would look to do a $2 donation from each person coming in, so about $500. We have the 2020 Family Fun Snow Volleyball Tournament at approximately $4,000. Family Fun Baseball at approximately $10,000. We would be able to host our 2021 Family Fun Snow Volleyball again for $4,000. We would anticipate $15,000 each between our grant money and our letter campaign, which would show us at about $20,000 remaining to raise. So we do have to come up with some additional fundraising ideas, but we tend to be fairly successful in those. So. Moving on to the next slides, these are some of the pictures that were provided by the company that did give us a rough quote. This is the structures that were included in that quote. Whether we went with this style or not maybe isn't final. One thing that we discussed is possibly looking at the 3 different vendors and maybe getting the school involved, being able to post it at the school and have a little competition or something for the students where they could vote on which one they like most. And that gives us that community feedback that we'd be looking for. So, and something fun for the kids so they can be involved. One of the pictures, I think it's back one. At the bottom there, that was a piece of equipment that they highly recommended just based on how it functions. It does have the ability to have the children seated, and I think they can also strap in a wheelchair with that as well. So something that we'd like to keep in mind. And there is various play tables and things of that sort that they can offer as well, that the children could roll up to if they needed to and be able to play and interact with other children. So on behalf of the Ayton and Area Recreation Committee, we'd like to thank you for allowing us to present our proposal. We hope to gain your support in our efforts to make Ayton as great as we know it can be. And if you have any questions or want some additional information, we can certainly pull that together. And just let us know. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your presentation, and we know how hard the committee works in the community of Ayton. I had an opportunity, as well as other members of council, to be at the Family Fun Ball Tournament, and that certainly was exciting, and the snow volleyball, and then the Christmas tree lighting. You folks are very active in the community, and I truly see the strong family net that's in Ayton, and it's quite lovely. Not to mention that we just had a celebration for Trixie Saloon for 5 years of successful business. Again, that's just a shout out to the community. So I'm going to entertain any questions that there may be from members of council, but I also want members of council to think, I know not all the time we prepare recommendations or have resolutions. Sometimes we do, and I don't know whether the council would consider perhaps giving council support in principle, but that this entire project needs to go before staff and just flesh out some ideas and obviously some technical components that need to be addressed. Food for thought, as always. Looking to actually the council-appointed member. Would you like to start the discussion?
I think when we leave here as a committee, we would like to have the support of council.
Okay.
And in principle at that, and then have the discussion and dialogue to further the park. I'm sure our staff will have some input. And actually, Cody's been involved and Tom has been involved heavily already. We just, as a committee, want to know that we're fundraising and that we can project this fundraising through the letter campaign, the final bit of the fundraising that we do need. So we definitely would like to have council support when we leave here in principle, and then obviously have staff input to work through the grant process, to amplify it in any way that we can. There's been a tremendous amount of effort put in.
Yes.
Jess and the team and everybody has really rallied around this. The community is highly supportive, as you've seen through the amount of money that has been fundraised already for it. So I'm sure the committee would entertain any questions on it.
Sure, I agree with that, and I think that's really important. And I truly know that there's an upgrade needed for the playground equipment. Years ago, there was a grant that was available through the Parks and Recreation Association. Not certain whether that is still current, but that is something that we could take a look at and see if it matches the criteria. So any lead in terms of funding grant opportunities, I think staff can assist with that. So it just further enhance what you're doing. So, okay, any questions? Councillor Hutchinson.
Yeah, first I'd like to thank the committee for all their efforts in fundraising and all that you do in Ayton. I know you do lots down there, and I see Mary Lou, and I know she does lots too. So congratulations on that. I just had a question about your map. Just wondering, is the old enclosed playground, are you going to take that out then? Is that going to be defunct, or are you going to use that playground also, the one that's there now?
We'd like to keep the current playground, mostly because the new equipment that's there is very functional. The toddler age, I would say ages 18 months to 5 years love it. Even the play structure that's 30 years old, obviously it's dated, so it is geared more towards their liking. What we'd like to do is include the ages 7 to 12 by adding the park on the other side.
Okay, I just wondered about that. I thought maybe you were going to make it into parking or something, but
No.
no, okay.
Good. Thank you very much. Anything further on this side? On the right? Nothing. On my left, Councillor Townsend.
Congratulations on all the work you've done. It's just amazing to see the vision that you've put together and even thought about accessibility, et cetera. You know, well done. I think that's important. If you recall, at AMO, we heard about a Parks and Rec intake, which is happening in September 3rd and runs for 10 weeks. Is that the one you were referring to, or were you looking at a different one?
No, no, definitely there's that opportunity perhaps with the newly announced funding opportunity for Parks and Recreation that was announced at the AMO conference last week. But there's also, what I was referring to is, you know, it was the Parks and Recreation Association.
Okay.
And through the associations, so through our professional staff that are members, perhaps there is a linkage that we can determine whether that grant is still in existence and whether there's criteria to qualify. So actually 2 streams of grant that are potential. And also, thank you very much for that, there's also a potential through Bruce Power. I think that's something that should be considered as well. So thank you for that notation. I appreciate that. Okay, anything
Yeah, I just wanted to
further?
make sure that you knew about the other stream as well. So,
Yeah, good.
and hopefully staff can help there.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. Councillor Shea, please.
And this is a great presentation.
Thank you.
It's, you know, it's clear, concise. You've thought through almost all of the questions that we could possibly imagine asking. You identified a grant in particular, Kraft Heinz or something like that. That's one that you've found. We've mentioned some here. Are you looking for help from us in grant writing or grant preparation? Okay.
We'd appreciate it.
Okay. And is that something that we typically do? That's part of our ongoing relationship?
Madam CAO?
Through Madam Mayor, we haven't had the resources in the past to provide that level of support. However, that's not to say that we don't have those resources now. We have to be selective on the grants that we want to choose to apply to, because if this is the project that's council's priority, that would be fine, and then we know what our focus is. That's really the direction that staff need.
Yes, because I think we heard mention of a grant possibility here just a few minutes ago that was referenced earlier in the day for a possible other project, so we can't. But these people are planning so far in ahead that if there's a deadline coming up in 4 weeks, maybe the deadline that's coming up in 56 weeks would be more appropriate.
Sure. There's opportunities.
I'd like to see ways that we could help support you in that.
Thank you.
Good. And that comes across loud and clear for sure, Councillor. Councillor Hergert, please.
If I might just speak to grant opportunities, we've had Cody send through a lengthy, exhaustive amount of grants that we can apply for.
Okay.
So we will be looking at the most suitable and the most eligible which we could tap into. So the Heinz Craft one was one that seemed to gravitate, maybe that's probably a good one too. But we would not be closing off any doors or anything like that. And I think really the municipal aspect of it, we definitely would appreciate expertise from recreation.
Oh, for sure.
But also we typically need to have the connection between the municipality to receive funds on grant opportunities. So that will also be the connection there. So anyway, we do have an exhaustive list of grants that we're just starting to sift through. But we definitely wanted council to see the plan and be supportive, and that way we know, go ahead and apply for these grants.
Excellent. Thank you for that information. Okay, so really good presentation. I'm going to go to Councillor Hamilton, please.
I just wanted to say thank you sincerely for all your efforts and an amazing presentation. You thought through so many of the details and for taking the time tonight to come and tell us about your project. And our tax dollar only goes so far, and then our community members, all your fundraising and community building that you're doing in Ayton. Sincerely, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, excellent. So I didn't know whether, Mr. Tremble, was that something that you... Yeah, are you okay to go to the podium? Because we want to ensure that it's recorded and it's at the mayor's discretion, and my discretion is absolutely go to the podium.
Just always a question when we develop and sever lots and everything, there's that park dedication, and I've never ever seen, where's that big fund? Where's that money go towards? I'm developing here in West Grey, Ayton's part of West Grey. My part, is there an opportunity for them guys to get some of that money that's in that fund, or not sure where that fund goes?
Yeah, so that is absolutely a fund that we do collect for that part of the development. It's not specifically targeted for anything in particular. It's something that at council's discretion that we would take a look at for sure. And that speaks to the connection that we want to have with staff in terms of having the dialogue with the Ayton Recreation Committee, and that a report will be brought back to council. So thank you very much for that participation. I think it was Councillor Hamilton. Did you have anything further? Councillor Hergert. Oh, yes. Okay. Go. Yeah, you know what? Thank you very much for yielding the floor, as it were, Deputy Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. I've had my hand up all day. Excellent presentation, Jess. That's great. And
Thank you.
Kudos to the rest of the committee. It's fantastic what you're doing down in that community. And I benefit because I have grandchildren that benefit from, so I know it's well used. I was wondering if we have reached out to some of our contacts in the community with the Bruce Power Union as well, because I know we've had some fantastic success over the years by drawing off some of the people that work up there. And it's the Power Union in particular. Bruce Power is a separate one, but it works very well.
Fair enough.
The other thing I'd like to do is just say that I would support all of this in principle. Thank you.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's excellent news. Councillor Hergert now.
I know that this committee will not leave any grant opportunity unturned, okay? So I can assure you of that. They're very hard workers. I really would like us to be supportive, and I think the resolution's coming down this way.
Yep.
And as part of the report that we expect to receive back from council, or from our staff, pardon me, I would like to see how much money we have in the parkland dedication reserve, how much money we have in any playground reserves that maybe Durham has already received. I know that they've been successful in completing their update in the last few years. And so I would appreciate our council remembering that equity across community. And so anything that they've received, I'm sure Ayton would be equally happy to receive. So.
Yeah, I know that goes without saying, and that's the whole linkage with the staff report, that it would be an all-inclusive in terms of what funding is available, what support council wishes to provide. We're absolutely supportive. I mean, you can hear that echoed at the table here for sure. So I do like the linkage, and I just look forward to reading the motion before me. Thank you. So the motion that we have in anticipation is moved by Deputy Mayor Tom Hutchinson, seconded by Councillor Rebecca Hergert. Be it resolved that the Council of the Municipality of West Grey hereby supports in principle the fundraising initiative by the West Grey Parks, Recreation and Culture Local Committee, Ayton, to purchase additional playground equipment at the Ayton Centennial Hall grounds. And further, that municipal staff be directed to work with the West Grey Parks, Recreation and Culture Local Committee, Ayton, on this initiative and report back to council for approval by council prior to going out for tenders/quotes for the additional playground equipment. Any questions or comments? I am going to call the question then. All those in favor? Any negative votes on that? Then I'm going to say that it is approved unanimously. Thank you very much for the presentation, and we look forward to seeing this park at the ribbon cutting stage. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, and well done for the presentation.
Thank you.
I'm out of order, but high five Ayton Rec.
Okay. I think that's quite in order. You're just A-okay. All right. Thank you very much for the presentation. Quite frankly, we look forward to another presentation from the Ayton Committee. So thank you very much. You're welcome to stay for the balance of the meeting if you so wish. Councillor Hergert.
Mayor, since we have
Yes.
this committee here, I was hoping to just confirm our last meeting, we had discussed the changing of the tree lighting, the date. And so I'd like all of council and the public to be aware that we've changed that to be November 30th. So mark your calendars for November 30th and get your lights ready, okay?
Thank you very much for doing that. I really appreciate that. We'll look forward to coming down to Ayton on November 30th, certainly before that time as well. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
You're quite welcome. All right. So, members of council, that completes item 10, which is all of our delegations. Item 11 is business arising from the previous meeting. Question, is there any? Nope. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay, see you tomorrow. Item 12. Item 12 is staff reports. We have two staff reports. Actually, no. We have one. We've already achieved working with the Director of Finance in that report. I know there was a noisy component at that time, but we were able to achieve what we needed to. So we are now on the clerk's report, and then following that on item 13 for the proposed bylaw. Mr. Clerk?
Yeah, so the Township of McKellar Council has requested support for the resolution calling upon the Association of Municipalities of Ontario, otherwise known as AMO, not to request, but to actually demand that the provincial government complete the actions identified or outlined in the resolution prior to forcing any amalgamation of any municipalities in Ontario. So I'm looking for any direction of support for council.
Yep, I think if we still have quorum, so just so you know, I pay attention to those things. So within this report, is there an appetite to support the Township of McKellar's resolution? I'm just looking for thoughts and considerations. And maybe it's just to receive, quite frankly. I'm getting a nod. It is to receive. So, Clerk Turner, that suffice. Thank you very much. All right, now we are on item 13, which is proposed bylaws for first, second, and third reading. So we have, well, a fair number of them. Clerk Turner.
Just in terms of the first bylaw, Bylaw 58 of 2019, it was tabled at a previous council meeting, so I do have a resolution if council wishes to entertain lifting resolution 450 of 19 from the table.
Thank you. Councillor Hergert, seconded by Councillor Townsend. So that will come right down to you. Thank you, Clerk Turner, for that. Thanks. Thank you very much. The proposed bylaw motion is moved by Councillor Hergert, seconded by Councillor Townsend. Be it resolved that the Council of the Municipality of West Grey hereby lifts resolution number 450-19 from the table. Questions? All those in favor? Opposed, if any? It does carry. So, okay. So I'm just going to pass these down for consideration. And do we, we'll need to start? Oh, we're good. So with regard to proposed bylaw number 58-2019, moved by Councillor Hamilton, seconded by Councillor Hutchinson. Be it resolved that bylaw number 58-2019 being a bylaw to approve and authorize the execution of a service agreement between the Municipality of West Grey and Evolta Software Inc. be now read a first, second, and third time and passed as amended and numbered, and that the said bylaw be signed by the mayor and clerk and sealed with the seal of the corporation and engrossed in the bylaw book. Any questions? All right, this is something that we dealt with at Committee of the Whole. All right, all those in favor? Opposed, if any? It does carry. Thank you. Just gonna. Our next bylaw that we're dealing with is a bylaw number 60, proposed bylaw number 60. You have that one here. Thank you. Thank you. Moved by Councillor Hutchinson, seconded by Councillor Hamilton. Be it resolved that bylaw number 60-2019 being a bylaw to permanently stop up and close a portion of an unopened road allowance described as part of Lot 30, Concession 11 NDR, Part 4, Plan 16R-11234, part of PIN 37217-0120 in brackets LT, Geographic Township of Bentic, Municipality of West Grey, be now read a first, second, and third time, passed and numbered, and that the said bylaw be signed by the mayor and clerk and sealed with the seal of the corporation and engrossed in the bylaw book. Questions? Calling the question, all those in favor? Opposed, if any? It does carry. Okay. So that's number 60. So we're dealing with proposed bylaw number 61. Yes. Moved by Councillor Hergert, seconded by Councillor Townsend. Be it resolved that bylaw number 61-2019, being a bylaw to rezone a portion of Plan 500, part of Part Lot 3, in brackets 512 Lambton Street, end of bracket, geographic town of Durham, in brackets Eckert / Aiken, be now read a first, second, and third time, passed and numbered, and that the said bylaw be signed by the mayor and clerk, sealed with the seal of the corporation, and engrossed in the bylaw book. Clerk Turner.
Sir, Council's information and background, both bylaws 61 of 2019 and bylaw 64 of 2019, they are both subject to site plan control. And those site plan agreements are getting very near to coming before council. But at the same time, a rezoning application is required, so it felt incumbent upon getting the zoning amendment through and passed if council deems it appropriate in order to get the notice of passing and the 20-day appeal period passed, so then when the site plan agreement is ready to come before council, possibly as early as September 17th, then that can be approved and then finally registered. Being under site plan control, even if the zoning bylaw amendment is approved, there is no construction that can occur until the site plan agreement itself is approved and registered.
Thank you very much for the update. Councillor Hutchinson.
Just a question. The difference between R1B residential and R2 residential has to do with multi-residential, clerk? I'm not sure what the difference is.
Yes, the R2 allows at least semi-detached. I'm not sure about multi, but certainly semi-detached, and that's the reason for that.
Right.
Yeah, a multi-residential, more than just a detached dwelling use.
Okay.
Anything further, Councillor? No. Anything further on this side? Yes, Councillor Hergert.
Just wanted to make sure this was recommended from Committee of Adjustments.
Was it Committee of Adjustment or Committee of Whole Planning?
It may come in the whole planning. Yeah.
Okay, clarification?
Subject to the site plan control.
Yes, oh, for sure. Anything further? Calling the question then, all those in favor? Opposed, if any? It does carry. Okay, proposed bylaw 62. Moved by Councillor Hamilton, seconded by Councillor Hutchinson. Be it resolved that bylaw number 62-2019, being a bylaw to amend bylaw number 55-2019 to authorize the municipality of West Grey to enter into an amending subdivision agreement with John Welton Custom Home Building Limited, be now read a first, second, and third time, passed and numbered, and that the said bylaw be signed by the mayor and clerk, sealed with the seal of the corporation, and engrossed in the bylaw book. Questions? Calling the question. All those in favor? Opposed, if any? Carried. Thank you, Clerk Turner. We are now dealing with proposed bylaw 63. Here we are. Moved by Deputy Mayor Hutchinson, seconded by Councillor Hergert. Be it resolved that bylaw number 63-2019, being a bylaw to amend bylaw number 112-2018, being a bylaw to regulate the handling and collection of garbage, rubbish, and other waste materials, and confirm the schedule of fees for the use of the Municipality of West Grey waste disposal sites, be now read a first, second, and third time, passed and numbered, and that the said bylaw be signed by the mayor and clerk, sealed with the seal of the corporation, and engrossed in the bylaw book. Clerk Turner.
So the only change to the existing schedule that was approved previously by council relates to tires. I was informed by the Public Works Department, but there's no longer fees chargeable for tires, and the current fees and charges bylaw did, in fact, still note some change fees that were applicable to tires. So all those fees have been noted as zero, so that's the one amendment that was requested by Public Works Department.
Okay, further? Councillor Hergert.
I do have a question on this. I feel like blue boxes at $10 was not included before. So would we be charging more for blue box than we would be charging for garbage?
Good question.
There's nothing that I'm aware of that was changed. We do charge for blue boxes. Yeah, I believe it's $10 plus applicable taxes.
Sorry?
And that, yeah.
Sorry, what?
Blue boxes are charged the $10 plus applicable taxes, HST, I gather. Yeah, that's a
When you go to
common.
the dump? To purchase.
Purchase blue boxes.
Thank you for clarifying
Okay,
that.
sorry.
Very good. No, that's a very workable question. Councillor Townsend.
I was advised by one of the workers at the Durham landfill that the hours were changing in September, and I'm wondering why these are still reflecting the same hours as what are existing now.
Well, I know we're going to get an update, and that speaks to Councillor Hergert's request earlier that I was going to, by the way, address under new business, and so I will just take the liberty at this time, but I will look to Madam CAL for additional information, please. We will be providing that information through news and notices in the addition of a report that we would look forward to from our Director of Infrastructure and Public Works pertaining to that. So I just want to say I hope that we achieve your request earlier to address it. We just don't have the Director of Infrastructure and Public Works here, Councillor Hergert, to address it, but that does satisfy at this point anyway your concern or your question. So I won't deal with that under the new business, but in regard, so that's part of the answer that you're looking for. So that's as much as I could provide at this point. I'm now deferring to Madam CAO.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. And I'm only going to be able to echo what you've shared with Council, that we will be working on a, we are looking at our landfill operation in light of a new director coming on stream as well. We're just trying to coordinate a logical approach to that.
Certainly. And I'm going to ask the clerk to just give a further enhancement to this.
Yeah, so certainly that wasn't brought to my attention, whether it's pending or approved, but it seems like it's a point of discussion at this time. So
At this time.
If in fact it does change, then the schedule will again come before you for amendment.
It's kind of a working document, if you will, one of those living documents. So
Yeah, I was kind of told it was like September 1st, and so when you look at, again, that's what's being said at, by staff. So if it's coming that quick, I wondered why we wouldn't deal with it now rather than repeat the work again. And I realize it's not potentially a lot of effort to do the paper, but anything we can do to improve that process, right?
Sure.
So that's
And
why I
agreed.
asked. It was really,
Yeah,
really
agreed.
around trying to do things all together, so.
Well, thank you for agreed on everything you said. And so we will just be working with staff to clarify that piece of information. So thank you for letting us know about that. Okay. Councillor Hutchinson.
Yeah, can I just can we get that clarified? On that last chart where we had some confusion about the blue box, at the title it says Durham and Bentinck landfill tipping fees. So then you look down and you see blue boxes, and you see one blue box, $10. So we're confused, so I think our general public may be confused. So either we say for sale or purchase of blue box, or we separate the bag tags, blue boxes from that chart. So just make it a little more clarified, I think.
Yeah, and the whole idea, I know, by this council is to keep the language simple and that presents itself to clarity. So with what Councillor Hutchinson is suggesting, and certainly by the dialogue that we've had here at the table, Clerk Turner, is that something that can be amended currently, or does that need to be taken back to staff?
Certainly it can be an amendment to the bylaw if council's okay with that, and it probably makes sense to do so.
Perfect. So with that, I'm just looking to the right to see if there's consensus here. Thank you. Looking to my left? Okay, thank you. So is there any other question or comment? And I've duly identified, okay, so for the mover and seconder, are you okay with those amendments? Okay, and I will be saying that we've read, or I have read the motion, and I will say as amended. Okay, so calling the question then, all those in favor? Opposed, if any? Carried. Clerk Turner, I'm just going to put as amended here. Thank you. So that was number 63. Thank you. Item 60, proposed bylaw 64, moved by Councillor Hutchinson, seconded by Councillor Hamilton. Be it resolved that bylaw number 64-2019, being a bylaw to rezone the subject lands described as Plan 80, part lots 8 and 9, Queen Street, and in brackets, 6 Queen Street East, Elmwood, end of bracket, geographic, Township of Bentinck, Municipality of West Grey, Beckenhauer in brackets, be now read a first, second, and third time, passed and numbered, and that the said bylaw be signed by the mayor and clerk, sealed with the seal of the corporation, and engrossed in the bylaw book. Questions? Councillor Hergert.
I would appreciate an update from Mark, through you, Madam Mayor, just as it relates to the distance to the well next door. We don't have any concern further to that issue?
Good. Thank you for that. Clerk Turner?
There have been none identified through the public commenting process, including the Conservation Authority, so not aware of any.
Thank you. Councillor Hutchinson?
Yeah, it seems like it's been a little while, I think, since we've talked about this. Is this the case where there was a lot that was empty, and we're just changing the zoning on it from, it was residential and now it's going to be highway commercial? Even though it's not really on the highway, right? It's on the east side of their building, is it not?
It'll be an extension to their existing business,
okay.
commercial business.
Okay, so it is just a matter of changing the zoning on that lot. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Further? Nothing? Calling the question. All those in favor? Opposed, if any? Carries. So that's number 64. And number 65, our last bylaw for this evening. Moved by Councillor Shea, seconded by Deputy Mayor Hutchinson. Be it resolved that bylaw number 65-2019, being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of the August 27, 2019 council meeting, be now read a first, second, and third time, passed and numbered, and that the said bylaw be signed by the mayor and clerk, sealed with the seal of the corporation, and engrossed in the bylaw book. Questions? Calling the question. All those in favor? Opposed, if any? Carried. Okay, thank you very much. Turner? Okay, yes, we've achieved this already when we talked about Councillor Hergert's inquiry about landfill, and we do have I just wanted to note it that Councillor requested an update respecting the Durham bylaw site news and notices and the Director of Infrastructure and Public Works report to Council. So the clerk has just identified that he's included that in the minutes, so it's ingrained in the minutes, and we will get that information brought forward. Go ahead.
Will that be for all of West Grey landfill sites? Just as a matter of update, are we, just
Why not?
everything else carries
Sure.
on, not just specific to Durham? I would appreciate it.
No, I think that that's very workable, and certainly I think that's something we'll just amend it to that. Your specific question was dealing with Durham. I know I noted that you're expanding it to include all of West Grey, and we can absolutely accommodate that. Councillor Townsend.
When I was advised of the Durham change, I was also told Bentinck was changing, so
Thank
that
you.
was why.
Okay, perfect. Thank you for the update. We really appreciate that, so that's important. Okay. Clerk Turner?
So just for clarification, is it just relating to the potential changes in dates, or is it more extensive or something over and above?
Just an update.
I would say if any items are not accepted at Durham any longer, that we should be communicating that out.
Yeah.
I understand that there is some limitation at the Durham landfill right now. So just as a matter of brand new, fresh, what could people expect if they're going to Normanby? What could people expect if they're going to Durham, and Bentinck the same? And what times is it open?
Yeah, no, that's perfect. Perfect request. And I do know that as of September 1st, there was a news and notice or something going back a bit that talked about as of September 1st, the Durham landfill would not be accepting the large parcels of garbage, couches and chairs and that sort of thing, those sort of items, and that the request is that if you have those items for disposal, that they be taken to the Bentinck site. Perhaps that's where that September 1st date came in, but we will absolutely seek clarification and provide that to council, but also communicate that out to the public. Madam CAO.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I actually have that confirmation from the director right now, and he has confirmed that the only thing changing September 1st is the change to accepting large refuse, which will not be accepted in Durham, and there are no changes to operational hours.
Okay, thank you very much. That's extremely impressive. I appreciate it. For both you and the Director of Infrastructure and Public Works in real time. That's excellent. Councillor Townsend.
While I was focusing on the dates and the hours, there may be other changes as part of that upcoming that I'm not aware of. So if there are others, obviously.
The request still
Yeah.
stands,
Okay,
absolutely.
that's good.
Oh, for sure. All right. Any other new business? All right, so we're moving off. Oh, Madam CAO, yes, of
Yes,
course.
thank you, and thank you to our clerk as well. Are we doing this under direct motion for the Rural Economic Development grant opportunity from the Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Affairs?
Good. Thank you very much for positioning it here, and that we'll look forward to having that discussion under item 16, notice of motion or direct motion. Perfect. Thank you for that synergy. I appreciate that. Are we off new business? I'm just looking. Thank you. All right. Addendums, item 15. Any? Any at this point? All right. So we are swiftly on item 16, as it would appear. Notice of motion and direct motion. First one, Madam CAO or Clerk Turner? Who's going to introduce that?
So it was introduced under new business, so it would be in order. If two-thirds majority of council is given, then a direct motion can be entertained.
All right. So I'm looking for a vote on the two-thirds to introduce this. We're clear on the items before us. All those in favor? Opposed, if any? You certainly have the two-thirds in that. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, moved by Councillor Hutchinson, seconded by Councillor Hamilton. Be it resolved that the Council of the Municipality of West Grey hereby approves applying for the following 2 Rural Economic Development, and in brackets, RED, grants, social enterprise, and that is as a partner with Georgian College and Social Enterprise Network of Central Ontario, and the acronym for that is SENCO and Grey Highlands, and a downtown revitalization program as recommended by the Committee of the Whole. Any questions? Any questions? Councillor Herger.
I don't have any questions. If anybody is watching, this would be our Committee of the Whole minutes from this morning, from August 27th, that they could refer for all the details on those social enterprise and so on.
Thank you very much for that. All right, no questions? Calling the question, all those in favor? Opposed, if any? It does carried. And maybe for this purpose, for the grant application process, I'm going to say carried unanimously. Okay, hopefully, fingers crossed, we get some grant money. Any other notice of motion or direct motions? I'm looking to my left and to my right. Okay, perfect. Item 17, closed session, incomplete items only. We completed everything we needed to. Item 18, matters arising from closed session. Well, that is incomplete items only, which we're fine. So moving on to item 19, question period. Members of the audience, do you have any questions? Thank you very much. That was my question to you, and I see you do not have one. Item 20, Municipal Act notices. Clerk Turner, is there any? All right, so we do not have any Municipal Act notices. Item 21, adjournment. Deputy Mayor, Councillor Townsend, all those in favor? Opposed, if any? It does carry. Thank you. A very well done, powerful, full day of decision making. Thank you.